Hello and welcome to Euro Roundup. This is the show where we take a deeper dive into European football. And today I'm joined by Chris Hamill.
As per, nothing special.
Also joined by a lot of builders, so if you hear someone drilling a hole in time, then that will be these dickheads behind us. And we start this week in Germany. Bayern Munich beat Wolfsburg 5-0 this weekend, mate.
Yes, mate, it was an absolute spanking. And this was actually Bayern's 650th home victory in the Bundesliga era.
Not bad.
The next closest is 509.
Shit.
Utter domination. But Wolfsburg are usually the whipping boys at the Allianz. They've been there 22 times, Pato. They've lost 21 times and conceded 62 goals in the process. So, game was never really in doubt. What about that opening humdinger from Robin?
Filthy.
Your goal of the weekend, maybe?
Filthy. Possible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sprung it on me.
Classic Robin, mate. Cut him from the left, zinged it top left, and he's now the highest scoring Dutchman in the Bundesliga. So congratulations, Iron. And it was a day of personal accolades, Pato. Thomas Müller has finally scored after 999 minutes in the Bundesliga without a goal. He does have 5 assists though. Thiago also made his 100th appearance for the club in the centre of midfield and was typically awesome. Not a word I use a lot, but he was absolutely awesome, making 93 passes. That's the most in the game. He also made 3 tackles. It's actually more than Arturo Vidal. So, what's he doing? Cantares has become an all-rounder. It's unbelievable.
Yes, indeed. But there's one player who is not an all-rounder, and that's Robert Lewandowski. This is a guy who does one thing, and he does it incredibly well. He got on the score sheet again in this game. This is actually the 34th time in his career that he's netted more than once in a game. That's the 6th highest total in Bundesliga history. Very obscure fact.
Eating up those records, mate.
Yes,
he's eating
indeed.
them up, isn't he?
And he showed his different talents in this game. First was a poacher's finish after a block shot from Arturo Vidal. He's pounced on it, mate. Second, got a nick off a Müller drive, which was frowned upon in the playground when I was young. But look, when he scores, they normally go on to win. In the last 36 games that Lewandowski has netted, Bayern have gone on to take all 3 points. That is incredible stuff. Wolfsburg, though, how shit are they? In the first half, not a single Wolfsburg player had an average position in the Bayern half. And as for Julian Draxler, who's going to be one of their brightest stars, his average position has been on the bench.
Ooh.
Hey.
It's the cold shoulder from Pat.
Hey.
Ooh.
Look, I did feel a bit sorry for Benaglio in goal, though. He made 5 saves, and that's the only thing that stopped this being an absolute bloodbath. Couldn't keep out Costa's absolute pile driver on the 85th minute.
An absolute zinger tower, meal.
Yeah, Google pile driver, and you'll see some interesting results.
But now they're joint top with Red Bull Leipzig on 33 points.
Yes, they are. After
the
Leipzig
second
lost 1-0.
horse has arrived. So we have a competition on our hands. Who do you think's going to win, guys? You know what to do. Pato, put down your bratwurst and your Steiner, my friend, because we're off to Paris to meet our first losers. It's PSG, who could only manage a 2-2 draw with Nice at the Parc des Princes.
Yeah, the best we can say is that they didn't lose, and they haven't lost at home against Nice in 6 matches now, but they've only taken 1 point from the last available 6, and they now find themselves in 3rd, 3 points behind Monaco and 4 points behind Lucien Favre's side. Now, they did dominate the early exchanges. Lavan Kurzawa, particularly impressive at left-back, escaping his markers with ease and really showing that pace and strength down in the wide areas. Their dominance in this game, PSG's, was reflected in the shot count, which was 22-5. So they really were on top, but they got sucker punched half an hour in as Cyprian scored a wonderful free kick.
C'était génial. So
gave Nice the lead, and then obviously PSG had to try and push on to get that equaliser. Cavani actually should have found it on 39 minutes, but what happened? Nice went on to nick a second against the run of play with player netting.
I think it's interesting that you noted the fullbacks there because they were very exposed for that second goal, Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. They're actually made to look very clumsy by the centre forward. But was that because the fullbacks were bombing on so much in this game?
Yeah, maybe.
It's not a system I'm used to seeing Unai Emery deploy. I know you tell me his formations are interchangeable at Sevilla, but I was very used to seeing him use a 4-2-3-1. And someone who he used in that system, Krychowiak, was actually, again, quite poor in this game and was hauled off at half-time. Emery was forced to play an attacking hand and throw the kitchen sink at it by putting Lucas Moura on. But it paid dividends, didn't it, mate? Because it came, the first goal came in the 46th minute. Verratti put in Aurier, who put it on an absolute plate for Cavani. He could not have had 2 easier finishes. The second goal was a keeping error and a pretty bad one. He pushed it against Dante. But Cardinal actually made 8 saves during this game.
Wow.
So I can't see Lucien Favre having a huge problem with him. And Cavani, doesn't he? His scoring record goes on. He's now been responsible for 50% of PSG's goals in the leagues. In the leagues? In the League One. That is mental. Where do you guys rate Cavani in the grand scheme of things? Let us know in the comments below.
Next up in the winners category, Chris and I have had a slight difference of opinion, and he's going to kick you off with Man United.
And in particular, Henrikh Mkhitaryan, the man of the match, was the first Armenian to score in the Premier League, so well done to him on that personal accolade. He had 3 shots, 1 key pass, 6 ball recoveries. The guy is so nippy. He's actually much quicker than I first thought. He's got a tackle in there and 2 interceptions, but he was stretched off late on in the game and will likely to be out until Boxing Day, so not quite as bad as first feared United fans. A bit of hope there for you, which is a pity as he's actually been involved in 4 goals in his first 4 games for United. So he's made an instant impact after coming in from that delayed period. And Pato, I want to ask you a question. Do we credit Mourinho for sort of holding off, or should he have been prepared sooner?
Yeah, he should have been prepared sooner.
Yeah? Is that all you're going to say? Just pretty succinct on the matter. Straight in there. Pato's pretty unforgiving when it comes to Mourinho. But United were impressive all over the pitch, actually.
Yeah,
Kane barely got a sniff, and I thought he'd have a field day with Rojo at centre-back. Kane actually only completed half of his passes and had 1 shot that was off target, so not hugely impressive there. And Spurs have lost back-to-back Premier League games for the first time since March 2014. And Pato, winless in the last 5 away in the Premier League. So that side of North London, not very rosy. But guess which side is? Huh?
Hey.
Hey?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Over on the red side of North London, things were a lot rosier as Arsenal came from 1-0 down to take a 3-1 victory against their old enemy Stoke. Charlie Adam netted a penalty a bit against the run of play. I thought it was a harsh decision, but you thought it was quite a clear elbow to the throat from
Granit Xhaka is liable to lose his head at any given moment.
He's a quality player though. And Arsenal put up 21 shots to Stoke's 12 in this game. So after going behind, they did rally and put in a pretty impressive performance. Theo Walcott equalised before half-time. In the second half, Messer, Ozil, lovely header from a dinked ball from Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Similar to that Robin van Persie one.
Yeah, it wasn't dissimilar from that. And also Oxlade-Chamberlain playing well suddenly. I'm as confused as you are. Before Alex Iwobi wrapped it up late on. Now, I want to give you a sense of how much Arsenal dominated territory in this game. Now, we all know they like to pin their opponents around the 18-yard area and then just pass them to death. In this game, Stoke attempted 83 passes in Arsenal's final third and completed 53. Arsenal attempted 235 and completed 182.
It's a shellacking.
They are going to pin you in and they are going to pass it through you. Alexis Sanchez didn't score in this game, first time in a while, but created 5 chances, 3 ball recoveries, 3 tackles made. 3 tackles. No Premier League player has been involved in more goals this season than Alexis's 16. He scored 11 and assisted 5. Arsenal are now the only team left in the Premier League to have lost just once this season after Spurs tumbled to that defeat at Old Trafford. And with Hector Bellerin returned, though unfortunately Shkodran Mustafi is out, they look like they might be on a decent run. But it's Everton away next and then Man City away after that. So it will be an interesting test of their credentials going into Christmas.
New section, guys. It's a quick one, so strap yourself in. It's highlight and low light of the week. I've gone for Jamie Vardy scoring a hat-trick for the first time since 2012/13 with Ebbsfleet. Wow.
Yeah.
Low light.
My low light is Snodgrass winning a penalty for Hull against Crystal Palace. Went down at the time, they got the penalty, they scored, but he dived. And after the match, he said, oh, I did dive, but now I've watched it back, I realised that he didn't touch me. You're a bullshitter, mate. You should have said at the time that it wasn't a penalty like Robbie Fowler did that time. He went down under a tackle from David Seaman. You're a wanker. Low light of the week.
Would you have taken that penalty, though?
Well, yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
let us know in the little poll card just there. So, Pato, for our next losers, we head over to your motherland, my friend. It is Ajax who lost 1-0 to Twente. A pretty dry week in the Eredivisie, by the way. In game week 16, there was only 17 goals scored. The lowest since 2012, so not a classic by any means, my friend. But the big shock was, Pato, Ajax losing their first away game of 2016. The only unbeaten team left in the league is now PSV. They did dominate the game. They created 21 chances. Twente's, what a mouthful that is, 12. But obviously lost because of a 91st minute click penalty after a very, very cheeky handball. I was actually looking forward to watching Kasper Dolberg in this game, but he was extremely muted and he's actually dragged off on the hour mark. And it was Hakim Ziyech who stood out for Ajax. He created 5 shots, completed 2 take-ons, made 3 tackles, and had 6.4% possession. So it's almost twice as much as midfield partner David Klaassen, mate. So don't know what you thought of the game, but how did Rene Hacker's men do?
Well, they put in 2 defensive midfielders there to try and muddy up the game. And it wasn't exactly a classic in Enschede. The left-back, Lele, looks like a real prospect. He had actually a very, very good game. But the important fact here is that PSV and Feyenoord both won this weekend, while Ajax lost. Feyenoord actually visit Ajax in the next game week.
Tasty next week.
So that could be make or break. Ajax remain 3 points in front of PSV and 3 points behind their Rotterdam rivals. But who is going to win the league? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Our final winners come to us courtesy of Alex C. Thomas, who recommended that we cover Sevilla. And we want to focus on Iborra, who scored a hat-trick in this game. He's only the 3rd substitute in La Liga history to net a hat-trick. And he's the first midfielder to do it in the 21st century, mate. So don't give me a praise like that. Give it to me now.
What a nugget, mate.
Thank you.
What a find.
It is pretty impressive stuff. Unbelievable. And Sevilla beating Celta Vigo 3-0 away from home is not a result to be sniffed at. They hadn't won at the Balaidos since 2006. But they've been banging goals in from set pieces this season. They're deadly on corners. They've already netted 6 goals from corners in La Liga. That is a league high. So obviously they've got a plan, and Sampaoli is rocking it right now.
What's more impressive is keeping Iago Aspas off the score sheet. He has been on fire.
Yes, indeed.
But it's actually more even than the scoreline would suggest. They both had 14 shots. Celta Vigo actually edged it in terms of shots on target. They had 6 to Sevilla's 5. But Sevilla created 2 clear-cut chances. A lot of Celtas were kind of half chances, weren't they, mate? But Nasri was the man of the match again, the standout performer. He created 3 chances, completed 64 passes out of 68 attempted, and cheeky 3 ball recoveries in there as well. So he's working hard for his team.
Not bad.
And of course, this caps a really good week for Sevilla, who are now through to the last 16 in the Champions League final. So no Europa League final for them. It's not going to be 4th, 5th in a row, 4th?
God knows.
4.
A lot.
We've lost count of how many they've won. But how far do you think they can get in the Champions League? Can they make it to the last 8? Go one more stage? Let us know in the comments below.
Arsenal got Bayern.
Shit.
Have you actually?
That's fucking so boring.
Our final losers are Torino, who lost the Derby della Mole 3-1 to a Higuain-inspired Juventus, Pato. Now, they actually did take the lead through Belotti. The 22-year-old is in sensational form. He's already got 11 goals and 3 assists this season, prompting the club to sign him up to a healthy new contract with a €100 million buyout clause that only applies to foreign clubs. So I look forward to seeing him play for PSG or Man City next season. Higuain, oh no, not Higuain, sorry, Belotti. I've got another point on Belotti. He completed 21 out of 21 passes.
Wow.
Showing you that his passing game is pretty decent. But actually, did lose the ball quite a bit, didn't he?
Yes, indeed. He and Lajic combined for 11 losses of possession in this game, while by comparison, Higuain only lost it once. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about that pass completion percentage. For a striker to get more than 80% pass completion is considered very, very good. He's got 100% in this game, and against a quality side like Juventus. What a talent that boy is. But Higuain was the star on the day. He got 2 goals before Pjanic made it safe right at the death. He's now scored 6 times in 7 games against Torino.
Mate, they hate him.
Well, it was his 6th touch in this game that he put it in the back of the net.
What?
He's so clinical, it's unbelievable. And look, Juve, 17 shots to Torino's 8. Juve, 8 shots on target to Torino's 2. They were truly dominant. They're now 7 points ahead of Roma, who play tonight, and Torino are down in 7th place. But can they finish any higher than that? Can they hope for the Europa League places, the Champions League places? Who knows, mate?
Tweet us.
Tweet us. Let us know.
You might feature next week.
Information.
So. Time for shout-outs and special mentions. Pato, hit me up with the SMs, please.
Boca Juniors won the Super Classico thanks to 2 goals from Carlos Tevez.
Oh, what a dog.
Yeah, Besiktas, they beat Bursaspor 2-1 to go 2nd in the table. Benfica tightened their hold on the top of the league with a 2-1 victory over Sporting Lisbon. And in the losers category, we've got Dortmund, who drew yet again, and Hoffenheim, who could also only take a point from this week's fixture.
They're absolute draw specialists. Time for the shout-out. Capricious said Real Madrid and Sergio Ramos. Unfortunately, we discussed them last week with the Classico, but what a header that was from Ramos. Jamie says Derby. Rarely cover the championship, but they are in good form. Will Hughes, good little player. Alex C. Thomas, we've already covered you, mate. We stuck it in the main body. Well played for picking Sevilla. And Max, who thinks the winners of Roma and Milan should go in there. Not been played yet, so it'll be quite difficult. But get your score predictions in below.
What are you doing, mate?
And Pixelate, who says Mkhitaryan, mate, one step ahead of you. Stuck him in there. 3 amazing displays he's put. Look at the stats we have done. It's what we do. So thank you for your shout-outs. Please get them in next week and throughout the week. We're always listening. Nice one.
So that was this week's Euro Roundup, but who did we miss out and who would you have included? Let us know in the comments below or get at us on Twitter.
And if you enjoyed this, why don't you watch Stat Wars, guys, where me and Pat take each other on head to head. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And don't forget, Pele's a fraud.